You know, there's a couple of things that are frustrating when keeping chickens, and one of those things is when you have an egg eater. And when you have a few chickens or a lot of chickens, it's hard to figure out who the culprit is. And I have an egg eater, and over the last couple of weeks I've noticed a wet spot in some of the nesting boxes, and sometimes if I'm early enough there'll still be bits and pieces of the eggshell, and it is so frustrating. So we set up the GoPro in the shed to try to figure out the culprit. We found her. I have 2 rows of nesting boxes. This is just an old shed that we converted into a chicken house, and I have 2 rows of nesting boxes, and the culprit was always going to the top row. And you can see in there, like where they're standing, it's like the perfect level where they can peek in and they can see if there's an egg in there. So we set the GoPro up across from this, pointing towards these to catch the culprit. When I set the camera up, I collected all of the eggs, including any underneath any chickens in the nesting boxes. I left 1 egg in the top far right nesting box. I'll call it my bait egg. This nesting box has seemed to have more broken eggs than any of the others. It must be her favorite box. You can see that she's heading for that box first, even though there's a chicken in there. She forces the chicken out by pecking at her head. Later on, we catch her pulling feathers out too as she pecks at the chicken's head to get her to move out of the box. If you listen closely, you can hear her pecking at the egg inside the nesting box. When I came out about 30 minutes later, the egg was gone and there was a wet spot left in the box. After she finishes the egg in that box, she moves on to the box next door and kicks that chicken out too. If you didn't know there was a pecking order with chickens, you'll see that in action now. The other chickens are succumbing to the will of this chicken. It had only been about 5 minutes since I collected the eggs, so there are not any more eggs yet. She glances in the next box as she walks by. There are no eggs or chickens in this box, so she moves on to the next one where another chicken is nesting. She proceeds to kick her out. And then onto the 5th and 6th box, pecking at the chickens until they get out. She has been put in timeout. The frustrating thing about having an egg eater is I have not had any luck breaking them of the habit. I've tried all of the methods out there, whether you put a golf ball in there or they have fake eggs you can buy and put those in there. Nothing has worked for me, or even the mustard egg. I haven't found one that works. The only thing that does work, obviously, to get them to stop is to cull the chicken. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons why I don't like it when I have an egg eater. I love my ladies, but when they're taking out 5 eggs a day and maybe giving you 1, which they probably already ate that one too, they're not worth it. Let me know if any of you have had any luck with egg eaters in your history. Let me know your tips and tricks. I would love to hear it. Leave me a comment.